Some they call it functional alcoholism, but if you know anything about Ben, he's got vision with precision, microphones and a tinkle of derision. You're about to hear what beer can be. It's time for Barley and me.
Welcome to Barley and Me. I'm your host, Ben Rice. This is episode 107. We're here today in Sacramento, California at Urban Roots Brewing. With us today, we've got the head brewer and owner, Peter Hoey.
Hi there.
And also one of the co-owners, Rob Archie.
How's it going?
And then our special guest today from the Letter Talk podcast and also comedian, Alyssa Cowan.
Hey, guys.
Hey, thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, we've already talked a little bit before, like a year ago, maybe a little longer.
Yeah, we did the quick hit at Empress before a CCBA event, I think. So
yeah.
That was before we opened, right?
Yeah.
Right before you. I think it was like 2 weeks before you guys opened.
That's right.
So I guess we got to ask the question. It's been a year. How's business here at Urban Roots?
It's busy.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff to do.
It's been really well received.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like gangbusters right out the gates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it everything you'd hoped and dreamed it would be?
It's we'll put it this way. It's almost twice as busy in the brewery as we planned on for the first year. So it's
that's too bad.
It's good. It's good.
And,
Comes with challenges, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you had to do to, like, you said there's challenges. What have you done to adapt to those challenges as they come up?
It's just, at the guests come in and they tell you how they want to use the place, and it's your job to listen and adapt. And so, like, just kind of flow of service. We're actually now getting ready to transition to, like, modified table service and running food. We just found that, it's just I believe it's a better experience for guests to make sure that they're down. Yeah, and have your food brought to you, be able to reorder beers from your table, make sure that your meal is up to standard.
Rob's an experienced restaurant operator. I'm an experienced brewer when we opened this spot, and what we had to be very conscious of is that we didn't have the answers. We knew how to get to square two and get the place open and get functional, but then we really made a point to listen to people that were coming in for what they want in terms of the styles of beer, the kind of service, any pitfalls or things that we found people struggling with, and then be able to adapt our model to fit that. And that's something that it's really easy to point to a business plan and say, but this is how we planned it, and try and stick to your guns. Whereas being fluid and keeping your core values while being adaptive to what your customers are telling you.
How are you finding out what people want? I know it's a weird question,
will not
but
hesitate to tell you.
Just
give me Yelp. I'm just joking.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like, are you guys
no,
reading
we
Yelp? Do you guys go into
It's everything in the
Google?
Consideration. It's whether if it's a regular that shares their opinion, friends and family, other team members, or Yelp, or other platforms. It's just kind of you just listen and keep weighing, and it's just to be able to kind of take everyone serious and look into whatever it is their concern might be, right?
Yeah, and you've had some great bar staff that have experience with other places, making sure that those run smoothly, so they can just observe and go, is this person, what they're saying, is that kind of their opinion, or is this an actual fact that is a problem that needs to be addressed?
And it's simple. It's is this an opportunity to improve?
Yeah.
I mean, so it's you take comments, you take feedback, and we look. I mean, it's we always want to improve. So, we're taking that step. It's going to be, I think, on Tuesday. It's going to be our first day of this kind of
so even after a year of good, successful operation, we're still changing the service model to be better. So,
yeah.
So if I have mad beef with you guys over something, what's the best way? Do I shout at you?
Just be. Our what we've really been on is kindness. Just be kind and tell us your truth.
Yeah.
Okay. So quietly shout.
Just, yeah,
Quiet,
like I said, people.
kindly shout.
Passive
there's-
aggressively make comments over and over
Okay.
again.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, people will not hesitate to tell you. Like, I mean, imagine if you've done a comedy set or comments on your podcast where everyone's like, "I like this was dumb," like whatever.
Yeah.
Like people who people are pretty liberal with their opinions, and
Which to me that just, I mean, like, I believe it, but it sounds wild to me because, like, every time I have gone to a place, I've never thought, oh, better directly give them feedback, because I'll usually, like, crumple and, like, sneak away and be like,
well,
maybe I'll never
so
go
that's
there
an excellent
again.
point. So for all of the feedback we get, there's probably 80% of people that are just going away that either weren't dissatisfied enough or weren't put off enough to say something,
Yeah.
that they just went away. But that's why we try and we listen to the people that are talking to us. And it could be like, there's things we can't do anything about. Like, one person was like, I wish I could, we have communal hand washing sinks here. Like, I wish I could wash my hands in the bathroom. The layout of our bathroom, I can't put a sink in there. So that's not an actionable item. But someone that's like, hey, I wish I didn't have to go to the cashier to order a beer. I wish I could just go to the bar and order a beer. Boom, that's a service change. We can implement that and make that experience better for that customer.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I came here once with a bunch of family, and one person's like, wouldn't eat the food. Like, I don't like family-style serving. So I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
wow,
okay.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't care for that.
So did you go get extra plate and just break them off some?
Apparently, but they didn't mention it even, like, that's family. They wouldn't even say anything to me. Like, what? They wouldn't say it to me to go fix the, like, quick fix, like, is there another plate lying around?
Right.
Didn't say a word, just didn't eat the food.
And a lot of the really good feedback isn't this sucks or this is terrible what you guys do. It's, it would be cool if.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
it's-
wish list.
It's people that are already in here and they want to make it better. And
Yeah.
listening to those people is really key.
Yeah. And Alyssa, I assume you would write a letter if you really felt something about it?
Likely. Likely.
Well, in the comedic world right now, everybody's asking you guys to apologize for your jokes.
I personally so I've only in the last year or two I've only been asked to apologize for one joke, and it wasn't even really apologize, it was to, like, change it, and then I didn't. And it was because in the introduction to my podcast I refer to myself as stupid, which somebody was like, I don't like that because I don't listen to this podcast because I think you're stupid. And then they said a bunch of really nice things. They were just like, you're smart and funny. And I'm like, oh, stop. But then they wanted me to change it. But I was like, no, I can't, because it sets up what the podcast is. Saying that I'm stupid and then being like, and then presenting. So basically what I do is I write letters to businesses and public figures. And they're always ridiculous and usually have nothing to do with what they're talking about. Like,
Well, it starts off with a base, like, here's a thing the person does, and then just tangent.
yeah,
And you never come back.
it gets very strange. Like the last episode I released, I wrote a letter to an expert on artificial intelligence, and I asked him how to get rid of. I said that I have the dancing frog from from Warner Brothers, the one that only sings.
Yeah.
I said that I haven't, and I think he's AI. How do I rehome it? Like, that's like, it's stuff like that. So when I open up the whole show and be like, these are stupid. Like, I'm stupid. These will be stupid. I
This is
feel
a
like
waste of my time, and yet I am doing it anyway.
I definitely had my mom say, I was writing because another feature of the show is that I can, I'll write letters to people who request them. So I have a form on the website, and people can just put their name in, and I'll write them a letter about regarding whatever information they give me. And I told my mom that I was working furiously on this letter, that I was researching someone through their social. I was just reading their social media for like an hour so I could write them a letter. And my mom was like upset. She was just like, why don't you write a letter to your sister or something? Like, I talk to her on the phone twice a week. Like, why would I write her she was aghast that I was using my time to write letters to strangers. So,
Well, we're in the days. I think probably there's been no time in history that we've gotten more feedback than now.
yeah.
Everyone has
Yeah.
an opportunity to say
Yeah.
Peace or not peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's face-to-face through Google reviews, Open Table reviews, Yelp reviews,
Yeah.
like just
Instagram,
media.
Twitter, Facebook.
private message. Like there's all kinds of avenues. Like you can find us if you got something to say. And
Sure.
So
Yeah.
So it is important to, and even for like team morale, to not get fatigued with feedback and really still like stay relentless and trying to look at opportunities to improve. And I feel like on a weekly basis, like that's our challenge, is to not just get jaded by, oh, that's just another review or that's just another feedback. It's like we know what our goals are, and so it's like you have an opportunity to improve. You still have to kind of like stay resilient and like stay to it, right?
Yeah. And what are those goals, Peter?
just providing an exceptional experience for people that come through these doors. Like when you go out, you're going out to get away from your kitchen and dirty dishes and your obligations, and you should be taken care of, you know, and you should walk away with a smile on your face. And there's places that are very, we'll call them utilitarian. They will bring you food and they will bring you drinks, but the experience may be lacking. And we want a welcoming, inclusive experience here that people leave happy, not just with bellies full and you know, bottles of beer to go or whatever. Like whatever that is, that plus experience, other than the mechanism of delivering food and beer.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that, like, also now to kind of add on to what you were saying is, yeah, I think, you know, there's a part of it that people need to eat and drink. Like, literally, I'm hungry, I want to go eat and drink. But why do you come out to eat? A lot of times it's like, you know, it's satisfying something to connect, formally or informally, with the community, right? And so, like, a lot of time when we talk and we're talking about our goals, like you're saying, is that, you know, our job is we're hosts. And you never know where someone has walked in from.
Yeah.
Whether if it was a tough day at work, broken relationship, celebration, whatever it may be, right? It's like it's our jobs to host that.
Yeah.
And so therefore it's all about how we do it. It's not just what we do, it's just like how you do it. And
And I really do like about the layout at Urban Roots is there's like 5 different areas. You've got your outdoor patio for like friends hanging out on a Thursday night just trying to catch up. You got the indoor kind of like couples area. You got the bar seating. You got this area that we're in right now for this kind of like a family area. And then like in your barrel room, it's like that's like the gathering spot, which is really cool. Because like it just depending on what you want to be, why you're here, there's a room for you. There's a space for you.
Yeah, I mean,
which is
well,
very
today, like we have a baby shower going on literally right now, right?
Hence the screaming that's a little bit more high-pitched than a usual bar.
It's a little hard. Right. We have another luncheon. I think it's like a business luncheon, you know, after that. And then we have a wedding after party, right?
Yeah, the reception is here tonight.
Reception is here tonight. So, and then there's a bunch of, so it's very festive. It's always, you know, different. And yeah, it's not just beer. It's community. For sure.
So that was a big thing Rob and I talked about before we found this building, before we were really talking about the nuts and bolts of this project, about how beer is community. For whatever reason, bars and beer have this connecting ability. And at any given time at our bar, you know, Rob went through all the different people having parties here today. At any time at our bar, we will have a construction worker, an attorney, a college professor, a comedian, and whoever else, and they all sit down next to each other and talk to each other. And in their professional lives, it would be a pretty rare instance for them to do that.
Yeah.
And you just have all different backgrounds and all different walks of life. And we, like, one of the reasons Rob and I travel so much is we love experiencing different people and different cultures and just seeing how the rest of the world lives and trying to find the best bits of that to enrich our lives and our community. And beer is the conduit for all of that.
Yeah. And I can't help but notice that Alyssa is taking down some Dippin Dots that you guys have available here.
I was going to ask about that.
Birthday
Yes,
cake,
please
Dippin'
do.
Dots.
So originally I wanted to have an ice cream vending machine here. Like when we were setting everything up, we didn't really have a dessert program, and I was like, cool, let's just find a vending machine. And then we were flying somewhere through SMF, and they have a Dippin' Dots machine in Terminal A, and we were like, oh, dude, that's it. Call the Dippin' Dots guy. So we brought the ice cream of the future to Urban Roots.
Yeah. Who
That
doesn't
was
like
so
Dippin'
hard.
Dots?
Was the Dippin' Dots guy like surprised somebody was calling? He's like, what? What?
Yeah, it's like, what do
This
you mean?
number's
You know
been disconnected for 3 months. I just got it reconnected. All right, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much do you want? I got it.
You know, it's just part of that. It's fun, irreverent, like kind of like something different and quirky. Like we like it, dude. People go nuts. Like
Who
Yeah.
doesn't like Dippin' Dots?
I've never had them.
That
I
is-
tried to offer
That is wrong
Ben
on a
some
lot of
wine.
levels,
I'm so
man.
scared of them at this point. At this point, it's been 20 years. I'm just like, I don't think I'm ready for
well,
it.
the
my
future is
anymore.
now. I think they removed the ice cream of the future from the packaging. So
No, now it says 30 years of fun. We've gotten to the future.
there we go.
We've been here for 30 years.
Wow. I don't remember. Wait,
I thought they were
30
like
years?
20, yeah, right?
That seems,
I remember 99 was
Totally.
like the Dippin' Dots like boom.
yeah.
Because
I was in
Yeah.
the mall
30
and
years.
like
Yeah.
they had the
This
little
guy must have
kiosk.
just had them at his house or something.
They had them at the water park. I
Right.
remember it being super special to go to the water park. You're like, because I could get those Dippin'
Dippin'
Dots.
Yeah, the only spot I see them now are like kids like climbing gyms in the airport.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
How do you dip? What's the dippin' of the Dippin' Dots?
I
You
mean,
still eat it
dip
with a spoon. It kind of
You dip
sticks
a
to the
spoon,
spoon.
but you dip a spoon into ice cream. That doesn't.
But it's
Well,
a
it's
collection
ice
of ice cream like pebbles.
I got that part, but why the dippin'? I just don't understand the
Because you're
dippin'.
dipping it into dots, not
Can-
just smooth cream.
Oh, okay. I see what we're doing
Yeah.
here. You're not just
Yeah.
eating one dot at a time.
Yeah.
You're dipping in. You're getting a bunch of dots.
No.
You're dipping into the
I
dots.
would,
I don't
oh
know.
my god! I just thought of what it would be like to eat one dot at a time, and it is harrowing. That thought
Wow.
is harrowing.
That's even worse. Like, don't bite the lollipop. Like that
Yeah.
temptation. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
one at a
Now,
time.
could you use a dipstick in your Dippin' Dots?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, they kind of melt to each other and stick
That's
to
what
it.
I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the fun dip, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
the
original
Fun Dip.
Dippin' Dots.
yeah.
Dip whatever you want into these
Right, it's
dots,
like-
man.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still scared. I'm not. I don't trust them.
I'm not sure I've met anyone that's scared of a confection before.
I don't know. At this point, it's just like it's been so long that like something's surely wrong with it. I don't know. I don't. It's still in business. So there's probably nothing wrong with it. But in my head, like just
I got
Too
truly
late.
excited upon
Yeah.
coming in, and like he saw, like I was like, "Wow, a Dippin' Dots machine!" Immediately put my money into it.
yeah, immediately.
Well, it's conveniently placed immediately across from the children's play area too. So
Yeah.
There was a kid. Yeah, I was like trying to hurry because there was a kid that was like behind me, and I was like, "Oh, this kid's in line." But I think the kid was just excited to see
So
someone
Rob,
using the Dippin'
when we were
Dots
trying to
machine.
figure out where to put it, Rob's like, "Oh, we'll put it in the corner right by the kids' play area." And I go, "No, we can't put it over there, dude. My kids are going to ask me for one every day." I'm like, "Oh yeah, we should put it over there."
Yeah.
yeah, it's like exactly.
Dude, when this thing goes down, like runs out of flavors or some type of air, it's a problem.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, you
Oh,
know,
we
there's
hear about
requests
it.
like, hey, you know your Dippin' Dots machine is out, or it's out of this flavor.
If you have an
And it's-
irate 4-year-old that doesn't understand that the machine is broken, like you're bringing it up to management.
Oh no.
That gets real.
I would be the irate 4-year-old, just advocating for myself, being like, "Why is there no Dippin' Dots?"
I didn't come here for your beer and barbecue. I
Yeah.
came here for the ice cream.
Just get some Dippin' Dots and leave.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that move yet.
Harbison might have done it. I saw him here one time. He goes, "I'm not going to lie, I ate 2 of them."
If I lived nearby, I probably would walk over here and get Dippin' Dots and walk
And
out.
walk out.
I'd be like, I'm not in the mood for a beer, but I would like a little Dippin' Dots.
This is nuts.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so part of your thing is making people happy, Peter. For some reason, that's what your business model is.
For some reason.
I don't know what that's about. So
overrated.
your tap list is what, 14 now, 16 now, 12 now, somewhere in that range. I didn't count them today.
We might have a couple open taps, but I mean, we're probably closer to 20.
Good God!
Yeah.
And just styles for days.
Yeah, I like lots of different styles. When we were talking about what kind of brewery we wanted to be, I did not want to be the kind of brewery that makes 10 different IPAs and a blonde ale. We want lots of styles. I'm a lager drinker, so we have lots of lagers on the board because that's what I like to drink. We do a full range of IPAs. We do stouts. We do kind of throwback styles like Hefeweizen and Red Ale from time to time.
Yep.
But no, we want a diverse board because there's more than one kind of beer drinker out there,
What?
believe it or not.
I don't believe it at
I'm
all.
protesting until the barrels come out.
Right? When's that supposed to be going on?
Yeah, Peter, when's that supposed to be
Very,
going on?
very soon. We've got one beer in package right now, and then another beer that's being moved into the blending tank in about 2 weeks. So things are going to start emerging towards the end of the year here.
Yeah, that's the beautiful part. Once you start rolling, it just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
They just keep coming. Like every month, you're like, oh, a little bit more aging, a little bit more barrel character. Maybe we throw something else in there.
I'm trying to figure out
do a
what I'm
different
going to
blend.
do and what I'm going to have my staff do, because we brewed this beer a year ago. Now we just need to release it. So
Yeah. And then I also, I forgot the name of the beer, but there's that black lager that just won't die.
Ooh.
oh, nothing is certain.
Yeah,
no,
there we go.
we're rebrewing that.
Good.
Like, that's one of Rob's favorite styles, so we keep that one around.
Yeah, I just, I love coming in here and seeing all those styles that nobody makes because allegedly there's no market for it.
That one sells pretty well. It's people who are into it's like I said, we want something for everyone. People who are into black lager come in here and see that we have one and are stoked. And other people will try it just for something different, but like the people who are into that style are super into it. No, the one that won't die is the dark mild that we made.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
a 3% English style beer served on nitro, and we brewed it for our
bitter
designer.
Englishman.
He's a British expat, and we brewed it for his birthday this year. And I think we have 4 kegs of it left, and his birthday was in December.
yeah.
Oh no.
You think the word
Fortunately-
nitro would get that thing moving?
Fortunately, that style of beer holds up really well over time, and it's cold, and it's never left our walk-in. Like, we don't distribute that beer.
Yeah.
So the beer's holding up fine, but yeah, it's not lighting the world on fire with sales.
For some reason. Yeah, I was at Red Bus Brewing in Folsom, and they had the audacity to have an ESB
Oh, yeah.
and a dark mild on at the same time. Like, so you guys are just going to have these 2 taps for, like 8 months?
We're talking about brewing an ESB, but we will not call it an ESB.
What would you call it?
Amber
Some
ale
type
or-
of
Yeah.
aged beer because it's going to stay on forever.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, there's certain styles that just you'll see it on beer forums, and we'll get requests. They'll be like, "How come you don't make a brown ale? How come you don't make this style?" And I'm like, we give it a shot, especially if it's a style that we like.
Yeah.
But I can only drink so much beer. I make 60 kegs of this stuff at a time.
Yeah. And it's not going to move.
That's a tall order for
Yeah.
me to take down on my own.
So you have that 1997 red ale?
Oh, tastes like
97?
1995.
1995. Beautiful. Because you've been around the beer industry for ever? Is that correct?
Forever, yeah. That's that's on my resume. Ever.
Yeah, you've seen the entire wave of craft beer.
Yeah, no, I started brewing in '98 and saw the crash in early 2000s, and then saw the slow rise up until about 5 years ago, and then the epic rise that has happened recently.
Yeah.
So, no, I've been at it about 21 years now?
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, and your brother does wine, right?
Yes.
So what did your dad do?
He collects
He drinks
wine and he was a school teacher and a math book author. He wrote
okay.
co-wrote a series of textbooks, but he collected wine and in college worked at high-end liquor stores in San Francisco and things like that. So he was always kind of interested. And my grandmother was from Healdsburg, is kind of what started that. She was coming up in the wine industry as well. Then my brother went back into it, and he still makes wine today.
Hey, I didn't know your dad wrote textbooks. This is crazy, man. I better start spending more time with this guy.
I will say that your guys' rice beer pairs wonderfully with Dippin Dots.
Excellent.
So spread the word on
That's
that.
a tough pairing. So I'm glad we got a win there.
It's delightful. It's birthday cake flavored Dippin Dots. I'm shouting out to it. And the rice beer, which I am very fond of.
I knew it. Nailed it. I'm so good at this. I planned it all. So yeah, how has it been being like? Because you started at Sacramento Brewing, and have gone on to brew other prestigious places, and then got into sales and stuff like that. So what have you seen and kind of learned before you started Urban Roots that like you feel gave you a leg up to be successful here?
Well, just having a really solid background in production brewing solves one of the problems that a lot of homebrewers will have when they jump right from homebrewing into owning their own brewery, which is figuring out how to make the equipment make the beer, or if they can figure that out, how to get the flavors to match whatever they're searching for. I mean, we can write a recipe. Both Peter Salmond, our head brewer, and I can sit down and write a recipe, and we know pretty much what it's going to taste like before we brew it. So you take that out of the equation, you can focus on a lot of bigger picture items like efficiency and operations and creativity as opposed to just getting the job done. And then the stint I did in sales was for one of the largest ingredient distributors for craft breweries in the country. And so I got to work really closely with maltsters and hop growers, and they have a very, very deep knowledge base just among their employees. And so my knowledge of ingredients and process grew exponentially during that time. It was the equivalent of, if you think about it, on my resume, you know, I've worked at 5 or 6 other breweries, and I've only seen how those 5 or 6 other breweries do it, how they attack problems, what their procedures are like. But by working for a distributor that was working with thousands of breweries, I got to get a peek and help those brewmasters with their problems or ingredient sourcing. So it's when you have problems that you grow, whether you're a chef or an artist or an engineer or a brewer. And being able to help troubleshoot so many different things just gave me an entire new set of skills to go into this project with.
Yeah, I find failure is a much greater teacher than success for some reason.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because I tried improv for a while, and I was truly terrible at it. But I was like, you know what? Everybody that was in my class got really good because they learned from how bad, like what not to do is a way better training than like the basics of what you should try to do.
Was this improv stint pre-stand-up or?
It was I was probably
during?
like 3 years into stand-up, and I was like, I feel like I'm stagnating. I'm like, I'll work on this. Maybe it'll work into crowd work, or like how we teach new styles, like thinking about writing. It didn't. I didn't write a joke for 6 months afterwards. I was so devastated by how bad I was at improv. But
how were you bad? Like
I just like could not set a scene. I could not help move a scene forward. Like just in every way, I made the wrong choice. Like every single way.
You're probably more of a planner, maybe.
Yeah, I'm big on that. I'm not a good I'm not good on my feet.
Yeah.
Is that why you brought a script for this interview?
Yeah, I brought a whole thing of paper. Every time. My goal this time is to say like as little as possible because I tend to say it all the time. I'm not good at extemporaneous speaking, so I am terrified. Stop looking at me. But yeah, I find that is a very helpful thing. Is failure. It always works.
I get it. I've done. I'm not a good storyteller. I've done 2 storytelling shows because I wanted to say that I did them. But I'm pretty sure I did either mediocre or terrible at both of them. And it was one of those things where it was just like, I want to see what happens. And I learned a lot from it. I learned that I should never do a storytelling show. Did you write your story before you told it? I did. Like sit down and write it, and then did you hate everything you wrote as you were doing it? Not really. Oh. I didn't really hate it, but I think the people in the audience might have hated it. It was... I don't know. I just felt like it was boring. I can't put any fun stuff. I can't make anything up. I just have to tell you what happened. I can't put goofs in there. Yeah, I will forever be mad that I did. Do you know Johnny Flores from Serious Talk Seriously at all? Podcast? All right, that's fine. He had a thing called The Anecdotalist for a while where he just like brought in people that like write or perform or whatever. And he's like, I'm going to give you a word and you just tell me a story that reminds you of. Like, and he won't tell you the word in advance. And so I don't know. I forgot what the word was, but we ended up like talking a lot about like being on the water. And I used to be a commercial fisherman, so I was telling the story about this time I almost died on my birthday. And I always wanted to make that a joke, and it never really worked. I couldn't get it. But when I did it that day, it was so funny and so good. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait for this to come out because I can transcribe it. I can make it a joke that I can do. And then he lost the audio. No. I was like, no. I needed that. I needed that so bad. So I've been trying to bring it back, and it's just awful every time. Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. Anyway, one of the storytelling shows, the one that I would say I bombed. I did it just because it was on the main stage of the Black Cat in Washington D.C. So it's this like cool legendary like music venue, and the whole thing was you would tell a story, and then you had to sing like a karaoke song. It was like a storytelling / karaoke hybrid show, and I was like, I love karaoke. So it's really weird to bomb a story and then immediately have to do karaoke.
Oh, man.
The crowd was like, we don't know how to feel. And like,
It's pretty awkward.
yeah.
But that's so in those failures, and the same thing can be said like over my career of brewing beers that maybe weren't just right. Like it's in those failures that you learn and you can hone your material, right? Like,
For sure. Yeah. And some
Yeah.
people will give up. Some people give up on failure, and then other people will learn from it. And that's kind of what separates the wheat from the chaff in this case.
yeah, it doesn't make it
Whoa.
any easier. It still sucks, but
Well,
Yeah.
I think when you
Yeah.
correct from it, it's called experience, right?
yeah.
It's like people say, I've had a lot of experience, right? Like I could say that in the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
Like Pangea didn't light the world on fire the day it first opened, right?
Yeah, that one's morphed a ton since it opened.
I mean, right. And it was just...
It's
I
as if
mean,
you're
it was
listening
just-
to your people again.
Totally. I mean, it was like, and the times. I mean, it's like the crash 2008. It was tough. But just like I said, listening to people, taking feedback, and also just staying inspired. It's hard to stay inspired. You know, it's not just given to you. You got to get up. You got to get up and go get it.
Your guests can tell when you're going through the motions, when you're getting through the day. But if you're coming in and you're excited about a new beer you're releasing, or you're excited about a new food program, or you're excited about a new event planning service that you're doing, whatever it is, if you have that inspiration, that's contagious. People feel it, and they can see right through when it's not there.
I mean, yeah, this industry, I mean, it's just so important that you stay inspired because, I mean, that it comes out in the food, it comes out in service, it comes out in the atmosphere. I mean, from the music to anything. I mean, it's all about like just being passionate about what you do. And it's like you lose that, and then that to me is failure, right?
Yeah.
Like when you lose that, that's failure.
Yeah, and when we first talked, you guys had said when it came to planning for this brewery and what you guys were doing step by step, you said if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Is that still holding true to you guys?
It's not
Absolutely.
an ecstatic yes, it's a no.
Yeah.
It's really true. I mean, think about it. I mean, a lot of times you got to say the hard thing to do is say no to good, yes to great, right?
Yeah.
Or yes to a solution. And oftentimes it's like if you just say yeah just to pacify that situation, it's not going anywhere. That problem's still there. It's still there, right?
Yeah.
So
Also, happy birthday to this kid or whatever.
Yes. I still just love the idea of a baby shower at a brewery because that's the only way you could con me into going to a baby shower is if I could drink at it.
But that's
I'd
the
be
thing.
there.
A brewery is a third place. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a place for the community to gather, not just like grown-ups getting drunk in the dark. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, did this party call you in advance or just show up?
They called us in
they
advance.
call it an advance.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, some people just show up.
We have
And it's
a
very
big enough
strange.
space we can accommodate big
Right.
parties that walk in. Like we had a walk-in party of 30 the other day for lunch,
Yeah.
and it's like
Yeah, we got
we're
it.
built to handle
Yeah,
that.
we got it.
So
Yeah.
So
All right.
that happens sometimes. More often than not, people know, like, we got a bunch of people coming out. We should probably call the restaurant.
Yeah. So, Alyssa, you mentioned performing in Washington, D.C. I think a thing that kind of brings this table together is the sheer amount of travel you guys have all done.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've been all over?
I lived in D.C. and Arlington, Virginia, and Baltimore, Maryland. I've lived in all of those, and then I came back here. But I'm from Nevada, so I've traveled quite a bit for comedy, and I've driven across. Both times when I moved out to the East Coast, and then when I moved back, I drove both ways with my mom. Which everybody's like, "Oh no," and I'm like, "No, it's fine." My mom's like very mellow.
Yeah.
So.
And Rob, you've done some traveling in your time, I assume.
I have. Yeah. It's essential. Traveling is essential. I mean, we have on our mural outside, it says travelers welcome. And it was like one of our values is to inspire and welcome travel. And it's just amazing. Like before I started restaurants, I had a nonprofit program, like a college prep program.
Oh, cool.
And the single most impactful thing we did was college visitations, was just taking a group of kids to like regional universities from Berkeley to St. Mary's, Stanford, UC Davis. And it's just amazing how their perception before and then literally walking onto the campus and realizing like wait a second, they just slid their card and they can get a free meal, and you get to stay by yourself. You're around other people like yourself. You see, beautiful people. It's just, and in high school they're saying they're rebellion. I don't want to do the work, but here's why you're doing the work.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's the same thing. I mean, just even later on in life, I was in Belgium, and I was traveling with a good friend of mine, and they were like, well, let's go to Paris next. And I was just like, I don't know if I want to go to Paris. I haven't been, and I kind of thought of it as a little stuffy, and I was just kind of like, I don't know. And it ended up being one of the dopest cities I've ever been in my life. And I wish I would have made even a little bit more time, right, to spend there, end up going back, right? But it's just, traveling's essential. I mean, it's essential for who we are as beings, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Rob and I had the opportunity last October to go to Vietnam.
Awesome.
I actually won a trip in a
Oh,
competition.
yeah, the Lord of Rice, right? Yeah.
And so I was like, Rob, come with me. So we packed our bags and got to spend a week in Vietnam. And neither one of us had ever been to Asia before that. So just going and experiencing a completely different culture outside of, takeout cuisine here in Sacramento, it's a whole, it just broadens your worldview and seeing how people do things and how they go through life and interacting with locals and business owners there and talking to them about how things go for them and what's your Friday night like and all that stuff is so interesting and eye-opening to me.
Well, what's interesting is there's things here in the States that we would see as chaotic, like the traffic in Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
And so the order, whatever that means, right? But when you see that there's people that can function in what we see as chaos,
Right.
but they supplement it once again with kindness. They're not so mean to each other. They're cutting each other off, but they're not. You don't see road rage.
Yeah.
Have you ever been? It's
crazy.
It's like a teeming mass of cars and mopeds, like a river flowing through a street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
When you look from
It's a
above
beautiful
and you
chaos.
it's
Yeah.
chaotic, but then it becomes beautiful. Like people are just
we
merging in.
we didn't see a single accident while we were there.
Right.
And we asked one of the cab drivers, or I think it was our tour guide. We said what happens if people get in an accident? And they go, the two people work it out between them. If they can't work it out between them, then the cops get called, and then they're in trouble. He's literally, they're like, how much is it going to be to fix this? Okay, we're done. They negotiate on the spot.
We didn't
and
see
then
one
move
episode
on.
of road rage.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's there every day.
Yeah.
That's what they grew up with. That's what
Everybody's
they're experiencing every day.
honking. Everybody's going kind of slow, and nobody's got a fist shaking out the window.
Yeah, my mom's from the Philippines, and I went there to visit, and it's sort of some of the same thing. You don't really see traffic lights unless you're in Manila or one of the really big cities, and then you run my mom's from a smaller town that's kind of on the tip of the main island, and they don't have traffic lights, and it's the same thing where it's just honking means something different. Honking means, hey, I'm behind you.
Yeah.
It's just in case you can't see me, I am here.
Yeah, and there's not really a lot. I didn't particularly see a lot of
one of the
rage.
dudes was he broke it down to us this way. He goes, look, mopeds yield to pedestrians, cars yield to mopeds, and that's the order. So he goes, so just walk. He's like, you can't. He goes, if you stand waiting for a break in traffic, you're never going to get it. Just start walking, and they won't hit you.
And they will stop.
It's terrifying.
Sure,
It was still, even by the end of the week, I was still not comfortable with it.
Yeah, I'd
but
imagine
you just have to walk.
I'd imagine if you grow up there and it's every day, that's what you've experienced. Is different than being you and walking in at 40 and being I've never experienced this in my life, and no, it's fine. It's I don't. 40 years of my life says cars don't see pedestrians.
Yeah.
And we get hit like crazy in America.
I would wait until there's a decent sized group of people that were going, and I'm I'll just kind of buddy up with them.
Can't hit us all. That's what I used to mumble to myself constantly while walking around in DC and Baltimore. Can't hit us all.
They can. And
I know, but that's what you have to tell yourself. You got to rev yourself up for the day.
They'll probably see us if we're en masse. You can't miss 30 people. You might miss one or two, but
so it's been almost a year since we had that trip, and I came back, and I swear I feel like a much more chill driver in California.
Sure.
I'll still have my moments, but I'm
well, it's just the power is perspective, right?
Yeah.
When you come back and you get to experience something like that, you now have a whole different perspective on what could be, and things that we have that are here that you might not appreciate, because it's I always kind of relate it to, in the States, we have this thing of control and fear, and that's a motivator.
Yeah.
right? And oftentimes you go to other places where it's not so much the motivator.
Yeah.
It's just kind of more passion driven, and it's just not, you don't have the fear that you have here, right?
Yeah.
Or control that you're trying to. So, what seems chaotic to us is just not so chaotic to them.
Yeah, it's super weird. I was just thinking about it right now. I'm like, I love traveling. I love meeting new people and talking to strangers, and like all these things. But I'm terrified of those Dippin Dots. It's just like, why? It should be open to anything, you know?
Don't be
That's all right.
afraid.
Everybody has their thing.
They've been
I mean, it's
around
from
for
what
30
you-
years.
Yeah,
But it's like, it's crazy. Like, even what people eat.
yeah,
We have this line. You're like, no, I eat all these animals, but those animals are totally unacceptable.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
It's
I'm like, I'll go 30 miles off the coast of Alaska, and there'll be thousands of feet of water below me, and nobody around for miles. That's fine. Dippin' Dots, nah, no, thank
Yeah.
you. Not on board for it.
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's so fun. Oh man, I did come in with one question I wanted to ask, and I'm very sorry, Peter. I noticed that you guys have very different social media presences, you and Rob.
Rob doesn't have one.
Doesn't have one at all.
Yeah.
And you're all over.
There's days that I wish I didn't. Despite being in the hospitality industry, despite doing a lot of public speaking, I'm an extroverted introvert. And what that does is it allows me to stay at home and interact with people, but then turn my phone off when I'm done. So I've, over the years, identified that that's why I think I do that. But it's there are days where I'm like, no, I just want to I'm envious of Rob's lack of social media.
People don't want to
presence.
hear what I have to say. They can barely sit through this podcast, man. Turn this shit off.
See, that's weird because I do want to hear so much more than what you tell people. I'm like, I want to know so much about Rob. I want to know so much that I know he's not going to give me anything.
I don't know,
No,
man.
especially I do stupid shit like post pictures of my cat.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a little bit of like a diary. Like I can flip back through and be like, oh yeah, that was when we were doing that. And it happens to be public, and if someone happens to be interested in that, I don't know why they would be, but it's there.
But
you
they
are.
are. It's
Yeah.
super weird. Yeah. I feel like Rob has so many cherished memories. He's like, I just think about those. I don't have to go look at a picture. I got it all. I know.
You know what, man? So we redid our home about 3-4 years ago, and then I realized like how much shit I kept, right? And it's just like, you know what? I remember. I'm fine. I'm done. I don't need anything else to remember. I'll just go ahead and get rid of it, keep it in the memory bank, and I'm good.
It's very
But see,
Marie
I do
Kondo
it-
of you.
I do it
It's
the
very,
other way. So like I have 3 kids, and they're like the amount of crap they bring home from school is like you could fill a room with just construction paper projects and all that stuff. I take pictures of it, save it to my cloud file, and then we throw it away. Like my daughter's she's old enough now, she's figured out she'd see like the art in the trash, and she's like, Daddy, did you scan that?
Aw.
Dude,
So
it's like,
I have it all, but I don't have the stuff.
dude, I'll find like a trophy and be like, oh, dude, this is a trophy from 3rd grade. Man, I'm so glad I found it. All right, put it back in the box. We put it back up in the garage.
We'll go find that in another 10 years.
It's like in another 10 years. It's like, dude, let's get to the point of this, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My family still has, I think, 2 boxes of things in the rafters of the garage, and it's just like old school things from my sister, and then old school things from me. And I remember, like, as a child, not really as well, as a grown child, seeing those and seeing that they kept them, even though they hadn't looked at them in probably 20 years because they were in a dusty box in the rafters, I was really like, aww.
So I will share a
Yeah.
story about this that's kind of that was definitely a broader side. So we had these 2 big boxes of stuff in the garage, and my sister, it's during Thanksgiving, she's like, hey, you should bring over those boxes, go through them, because it's like pictures and trophies, awards, whatever, just memorabilia. So I bring the boxes over. So after dinner, we dump them all out on the ground, and then my cousin says, "Hey, Rob, you have a birthday card," and it's like this, paper folded in half, like "Happy Birthday, Robbie," right? That's what they called me, Robbie, back in the day.
Yeah.
And so I open it up, 2 Jordan rookie cards that I lost in 4th grade. And I was like, I got teased because Jordan went on to win all these championships so I got him at this birthday party. All my friends knew I had him, and they're like, you lost it. And this
You
dude
idiot.
is the best to ever do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my roommate in college had one, and it was kind of damaged. I used to tell him all the time, dude, I've had a couple of those. He's like, yeah, right. So he was the first person I called when I found him. But, I mean, look on the internet, those things are worth like 60, 70, even up to $100,000, depending on the shape that they're in.
Yeah, depending on shape, yeah.
Did you sell them?
No, I have the safe deposit box.
Oh, okay. At the bank?
Yeah.
Which bank?
Oh my
No,
God,
what's the
you
bank?
gotta watch out for that.
Yeah.
They had an article in it.
Oh,
about
yeah,
the-
like it's not insured now, huh, or something, right?
Yeah, like anything, like, because they had a story about how a guy, like, they drilled through someone else's because there was, like, a mix-up on whose safe deposit box it was, and some guy lost his stuff, and it's not insured, and then they talked a little bit about how being the safe deposit box guy is, like, a dead-end job, so nobody wants it at the bank. Anyway,
This sounds pretty depressing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do? I wait till somebody walks in and asks to see a box, and I can't see what's in the box, and I put the box back.
I feel like I would love that.
How
I could
often
just
does it
read
happen?
all the
Like
time.
twice a week. Maybe twice a week somebody comes in and does that. Peter, do you have a safe deposit box?
No.
Okay, so we only have one frame of reference here. Do you keep cool shit in there? Do you have like a
I
bug out
think
bag?
that's like the only thing I got in there. I think that's the only reason why I got it. I was like, I don't want to.
fair.
I'm not losing this again.
Yeah.
It wasn't even because of the value. I just don't want to lose that shit again, right?
And you want to keep it in that pristine condition in case it's just worth nothing ever.
Right.
Yeah.
I got 2 kids at home, man. They'll find a way to grab that shit, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. They will rip it up.
They'll tape it on their bike like I did.
I remember when I was a kid, when I first got into baseball cards, I traded. I didn't know anything. I barely knew what sports were. I'm like, these cards are things. And the numbers mean stuff, right? The numbers on the back of the card mean things. And there's like little stories. I traded a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card for a ripped in half and taped back together Milt Thompson 1989 Topps. Do you know who Milt Thompson is? You don't. But I made the trade because like these stats are better because he's in the Matrix.
No.
I'm a fool. I'm a fool.
I'm sorry about that, man.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a little bit over the years about how to properly
See, there you
trade
go.
things.
There's another mistake we can all learn from.
Yeah.
Don't
If
trade
it's
away
got
rookie
tape
cards.
on it, it's not worth anything.
But the stats.
But the stats. That guy was hitting 296. That's pretty good. It's not great. It's pretty good.
That's when you could have used if it's not an ecstatic yes, it's a no.
Yeah. I was very excited about it. So I'm like, look, he's swinging a bat. This other guy's just sitting there staring at a camera. It's different. Like, I had no frame of reference. I didn't learn what sports were until I was 7 years old. I had no concept of sports, but I had baseball cards.
I never did those. I did. I remember having. I remember having a bunch of like sports cards because all the kids at school had them, and I just wanted to fit in. But I had like a box of them, and I didn't know what any of them meant.
Yeah.
And then when Pokemon came around, I was like, "Well, I understand this." Like, that was like the game changer.
Yeah.
I had so many sports related things. I still don't really understand them. And like, I like Miami Dolphins t-shirts as like a child, and I was like, I don't understand football. Everyone else just has Miami Dolphins swag. I have a starter jacket.
Whoa,
That's
what
yeah.
team?
It's a San Jose Sharks starter jacket.
Nice.
Wow.
And I
You
still
still
Like
have it?
one of the big
Yeah.
puffy ones.
It's weird. It's not like a puffy pullover, but it's like a zip up. I got it at a flea market. It was likely stolen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I saved up all my money and I bought this starter jacket. I think
Yeah.
I was in second grade. I saved up like $80 over the
Wow,
course
that
of a
was-
really long time. And then I bought this starter jacket. I still have it. It's actually very warm and I love it. But it's so funny because every time I wear it, people get excited
Yeah.
and want to talk to me about the San Jose Sharks. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm a poser. I've just had this since second grade. It's so warm and nice.
Also, I haven't grown at all.
Not really. Well, when I was in second grade, it was like I got a
Big
small.
ass jacket.
Yeah, it was a small. It was like the smallest one you could get, but it was still like super
You're still a
big.
second grader. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had to wear scarves because the neck went down. It went so far down, and like my
Like
neck
the
was always cold.
Michelin man.
Yeah, it was absurd. And like so now as an adult, I finally grew into it so it fits like appropriately, but it's still baggy because it's a starter jacket, so there's like a lot of space. Like I could probably gain like 30 more pounds and still fit into this thing right here.
Yeah.
It has like a side that zips up in case
Oh, yeah.
you get too big for it. Like it has a zip up side.
After dinner.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you know, you go to a
Zip
sushi
that
meal
thing.
and you're just like, oh, and you
Too
pull
many
it up.
starters.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Heyo.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I still have it. ask me questions about it, and I'll still be like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Someone's like, we went to the finals, and I was like, we? Wait, what?
Wait, who's we? Are you on
Who's
the team?
we?
Yeah, I was so confused.
That kills me. I do have a problem with that when fans use we.
Yeah.
It just weirds me out a little bit.
Yeah, you didn't do anything. You probably didn't buy tickets this year. Let's be honest. Most of you probably didn't buy tickets.
No, I wore my lucky hat and I ate the same food for every game.
Oh yeah, right. And that made all the difference.
It made all the difference in the world.
I was even like, I remember in college, like if our team, because I went to UNR, so anytime like the Wolfpack did anything good, they were like, "Did you see us do that?" And I was like, "Wait, us?" Like, even then, I was like, I went to the school. I gave the school money to go to the school, and I was still like, but I'm not on the team.
All Laker fans and Raider fans right now are mad at what I just said.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to all of you.
Yeah. I'm the worst Raiders fan because I'm a sports realist. So it's tough because I'm like a fan of teams, but I also understand how the sport works. I'm like, they're not going to be good, so... No need to pay attention to this.
You're a terrible fan, man.
I'm a great fan. I would say being
a logical fan is a terrible fan.
I feel like it's the best fan. I'm a sports realist.
Great fans are not logical.
It's true.
You can't be logical and be a fan. That's why
be.
you're a fan.
No.
Otherwise, you just like good sports. You don't like
That's
watching
true.
a bad team
That is true.
play.
I do love watching really good games.
Right.
So I don't
I'm
watch the
changing the
Raiders.
channel. I'm not going to just keep watching this terrible team because I have the jacket and hat.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
think we've just identified a lack of hope is what
I
it
just
is.
want
less
you-
than-
I just
less
want-
than being realistic.
If you're going to doubt my Raiders credentials, just know I have killed for the Raiders. I wore a Raiders starter jacket.
Here goes
Boom,
Raider fan.
callback.
This is Raider fan talking.
I killed. I shot a deer while wearing a Raiders starter jacket.
Hell yeah, dude.
So I have killed for my team. So you cannot call me on my fandom. Just so you know, I've been hunting once, 1 for 1. 1 shot, 1 kill. I'm super good at it. All right.
Oh, nice.
And then I never touched a gun again. So good.
What did you do with the animal? Did you put your jacket
we
on him?
put-
That'd be rude.
Well, so my uncle did my hand in his blood and like swiped my face, and then a little bit of it got on the jacket. So there's like blood on my Raiders jacket. I would wear it to class like a cool kid. I was in North Dakota. It was very cool to be a hunter.
Oh shit! This wasn't even you weren't around Raider Nation.
Yeah, I was
if
nowhere
you will.
near. I was a bunch of Vikings fans. So
I don't understand the sports one, but I do in a sense because like I follow pro wrestling, and it's the same thing where it's just like if you
Wait
like
a
a
second,
wrestler,
wait a second.
you go down with the ship.
Wait a second. What's pro wrestling?
like WWE kind of stuff.
That's not
and, like,
pro. That's playing around.
Yeah, well, okay. I'm into playing around.
I'm into playing around that devastates you by the age of 40, so you can't walk when you're 60.
As you can see,
and
I'm
you
a
die
terrible
when you're
fan.
70.
I'm a terrible fan. Yeah, how do you call fake wrestling pro? That's interesting.
That's what you got to ask somebody
I
from
don't know,
1981 when they started pushing it as professional wrestling, despite the fact that there's real professional wrestling that pays nothing and no one cares.
Yeah, the amateur stuff.
Yeah, it's professional. There's professional leagues for
Yeah,
that.
they call it, I think it's like, what is it, amateur professional wrestling? Or no, professional amateur
That would be
wrestling?
amazing if that's what it's
Amateur
called.
professional wrestling is like, you're in a backyard.
Oh, that stuff.
Amateur professional.
Yeah.
I think that's illegal.
It's like a dude in a gym.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was talking about like high school wrestling.
That's
like,
when they say,
like Olympic
please
wrestling.
don't do this at home.
Take
right?
it out.
This is like
Some guy that got a secondhand Nacho Libre mask and then
Dude,
is,
this is
going after
this is
it.
how like ridiculousness.
There are
got
multiple
an
leagues in
episode, right?
Sacramento. Yeah,
That's awesome. I'd go to that.
there are multiple leagues in Sacramento,
Yeah, I'd much rather watch amateur pro wrestling than pro wrestling.
but they do
Like, that's
some
way more entertaining.
they do such awful things though to bring in audiences. Like we're gonna throw tax on this ground. Like why? Why are you doing that? You
Yeah.
don't have like the training for that. Like we're gonna use real
It's
chairs.
way
Like,
more
They
entertaining.
use breakaway chairs and tables, and the real thing like we're gonna use real ones and we're gonna smash people with them. I'm like,
Man, my wife loves watching people get hurt. She'll watch
Just straight up
ridiculousness.
getting hurt?
No, just like fall. Yeah, basically
Well,
getting
like
hurt.
Wipeout?
That's because people
Wipeouts.
falling down is funny.
it is.
It is kind of funny.
As long as it's not happening to you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, of
always
course.
funny when it's somebody else. That
always
distance
funny
is
when
all you
it's
need.
someone else.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of Wipeout. I tried to do an obstacle course, and what a nightmare. I was like, oh, this will be funny to try to do an obstacle. This was also at a work retreat, so it's great to do this in front of your coworkers.
Team
And, like,
building.
Yeah, I went to go on this, because they had a cool obstacle course at this place we were having this retreat at, and I wanted to climb on stuff. That was why, because they had these big fluffy triangle looking things. I was like, yeah, I want to try to climb over that, and but you had to go through all these other obstacles first. And there was a rock climbing wall that wiggled too. And then I was like, oh, I've never rock climbed before. And turns out I don't know how. And so I just fell down right on my ankle and had to be that guy. I was like, I gotta not do the rest of this. Bye. It was so sad. So anyway, that's how that works.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no grip strength at all. I'm just I can't be doing that.
But also, what they don't tell you about climbing rocks is that you can't put both feet on one little doodad.
Yeah.
You're just going to fall down.
Yeah, you got to spread it out. You got to even out your weight distribution. You can't put it all in one spot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's problems for people with short limbs like me. I'm too small.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah. So speaking of weight distribution, you guys have to live personal lives and run businesses. How do you manage that?
Yeah, Peter, tell us. You just had all your kids the whole weekend.
This question's mostly for Peter. I just don't understand how you do everything that you do in one day.
No, it's always in flux. You have to be organized. The thing about this job is what I always tell people is it's task oriented. My job is done when the task is done, not when it's 5 o'clock, not when I'm tired, not when I feel like clocking out. My job is done when the task is done. So that makes it a little bit easier because I'm not going home unless it's done. The balance comes in making sure that those long days don't start impeding on soccer practice or school or whatever. So it's a lot. It takes a lot of organization. It takes a lot of support from my wife. It takes a lot of support from Rob, my business partner, and having a good staff. I mean, last week I couldn't get childcare. My wife's a school teacher, and she went back for pre-meetings and setting up her classroom and stuff, and I had all 3 kids and didn't have childcare for them last week. So last week I was working while minding the 3 children, sometimes at the brewery, sometimes doing office work at home where they could just play video games. I was like, hey guys, guess what? Last week of summer, you're in luck. You get lots of video games because I got to work on some pro formas. So it's just about managing your time. I mean, it often I'll be emailing Rob after the kids go to bed because that's the moment. That's the hour that I have to look at a new project we're working on or to review new beer labels or to do whatever we're doing. It's organization and it's time consuming.
Yeah.
Would you say you were like that as a kid?
Yeah. So I graduated college in 2.5 years with a major
Jesus
minor.
Christ.
That's what happens when your dad writes textbooks.
Right, yeah.
No, I dropped out of college early on, and then I went back after all my friends had graduated, so I wasn't having the college experience, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to knock this out.
What if I just focused on study and ignored all the social?
So it took me double the time. It took me 5 years.
Like a normal person.
Like a normal person.
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing. Every hour of every day, you don't have the luxury of just I would schedule time to do nothing. So I'm not saying I don't have downtime, but it's scheduled. It's not what I feel like doing at the time.
You see how this crazy guy's mind works?
Yeah,
crazy.
I wanted to know because I'm like I could barely get home from my day job and doing comedy and do this podcast and make a meal. What are you talking about? That's an insane thing. And he's like, I had a few minutes, so I whipped up this incredible award-winning dish. I had 10 minutes, so I did this thing, and it's crazy.
Yeah. You just do it. It's I did, like I said, last week I was working with all the kids. My daughter has soccer practice. I was like, cool, I have 10 minutes right now to make sandwiches for everybody because her practice goes till 6:30 and the boys are going to be hungry. So boom, make the sandwiches. We have dinner at practice. We go back. Everybody's in bed. Done.
I like that you go to sandwiches. I'm talking about you make it a fish dish and
we do that too. But I need 15 minutes for that, not 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that. I meant 15 the whole time. I can't even imagine getting this done in 15 minutes. That sounds insane to me.
But no, it's just about you can't. So I would love to smoke weed and drink beer and sit on the couch and play video games. And Anthony Bourdain had that quote about I'm fighting that guy every day.
Yeah.
It's easy to fall into that.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay motivated. And when the difference between, for me, for being successful and having a good day or a productive day or whatever is fighting against that impulse to just like drop out or to just cool out. Like I said, it's not that I don't relax. It's not that I don't go have fun with my kids. It's not that I don't go on vacation, but it would be easy to lose hours in the day if I were just like, you know what, I'm just going to kick back and not do anything.
Yeah.
You need downtime, otherwise you'll just burn out.
Right.
Well,
But
you have to
so
stay
it's fighting that
inspired,
burnout
right?
is a tough part, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you find it without like just collapsing into the like not burning out?
So I'll put it this way. So, if you're with your significant other or friends or whatever, you have certain TV shows that you watch. Like, since the brewery opened, I've completely dropped out of every shared TV show with my wife.
Yeah.
I get caught up when I go on trips and I can binge watch something on Netflix on an airplane.
Yeah.
And then we'll go back and we'll talk about the show or whatever. And I try and time it for about when she's watching the shows. But, like, I don't
watch
have
that show.
time
Yeah.
to sit and watch TV at home. Like, that's just not a thing that is a reality for me since opening this place.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. I'm also very behind on our shared shows. I'm like, she's like a season and a half ahead of me now. I'm like, I don't even know when I'm going to even come close to catching up on this to have a discussion.
I'll get the last kid into bed, and then I'll like pop out into the kitchen, and I get the look like, am I watching a shared show or am I watching my own show? And I'm like, I got stuff to do, and like, boom,
I didn't even know about this shared show thing.
You don't know about shared
I
shows?
don't know about that
Oh
thing.
man. Handmaid's Tale, Game of Thrones. You gotta watch them together. It's what you do, so you can talk about the crazy stuff that's happening.
Not watched a single episode of Game of Thrones.
That's fine. That's your life.
And it's right up my alley, too.
It's not up my alley.
Oh.
But ditto.
Like, what are your shared shows? You don't even have a concept, Rob, but
I can't even remember. I can't even remember some of the names.
Yeah,
now.
at this point,
My
I'm like,
wife
I know.
falls asleep.
Schitt's Creek
every
right now.
every
Oh,
time
Schitt's
I
Creek
watch
is so
TV,
good.
She
Yeah.
falls asleep.
But that's another one that
You don't
we're watching
need
separately.
the other person to be there.
Yeah.
It's just something you do because it's a fun show to
Yeah.
watch
So
together,
that's
but you
the most
don't
recent
need to
one.
watch it
Yeah,
together,
that's
which
the
is
most
nice.
recent one. But
Yeah, that one's great. I love
My
Schitt's
wife
Creek.
and I have never finished a movie together. I finished all of them. She never makes it through. She falls asleep.
Can you watch?
when Stranger Things comes around, it's game on for that.
I got yelled at for watching Stranger Things without her. Oh, I got so much.
So my wife doesn't like sci-fi or horror or any of that, so I'm usually on my own for those.
Yeah.
And after we finished season 3, she was like, "We need to go back and watch that again because there's like so much like nuance in there that we need." I'm like, "Really? All right,
Okay.
we
Yeah.
can do that."
Yeah. Now, so you finish all the movies. She doesn't watch any of them. Are you a guy that watches movies over and over again? And she's like, I don't see why you'd want to watch this twice. You already saw it once.
I mean, it's kind of like if you know something's going to be good, it's like easier to just go ahead and watch that again, right?
yeah.
So I'll watch
Yeah.
movies again and again.
Over and
I have
over
no
again.
problem with that.
I don't understand it. Alyssa, what about you with movies? How do you feel about it?
There's maybe a couple that I've seen over and over, but I don't. I
have time. I don't have time for watching this thing I've already seen.
I mean, it's kind of that, and it's also just like I don't really watch a lot of movies to begin with.
Okay.
So I don't really have a lot of repertoire for rewatching. I think the one that I've probably rewatched the most is In the Loop.
Yeah, I
Because
only
it's
watched.
fun to have in the background. You just hear people insulting each other, and then you go back to what you're doing.
Yeah,
and
I've
you
never
can, like,
seen it
have
all the way through, but I've watched it probably 30 times, but I've never actually seen it at once. Ever.
Sure. Like,
It's good. Just I always find myself wandering off to do something else when it's on, but it's very
It's
good
a
for
good background
It's a good background movie for sure.
it's a good background
Yeah,
movie.
Disney Pixar movies over and over and over
Yeah.
again.
Is that because you have kids, or is it a remnant
Because I
from
have
being a
kids.
kid and doing that
No,
when you were a
that's
kid?
that's exclusively because I have kids.
I don't have any kids, and I still do that.
I do rewatch. There's things that I do rewatch. So I will rewatch all the Star Wars movies over and over. And my boys will come and go on that, or my daughter too. Like they're kind of on board with that. My daughter loves to rewatch the Harry Potter movies with me. I will rewatch all of the side Star Wars stuff, like Rebels and Clone Wars and all the other non-blockbuster sort of stuff. And then I will when I'm flying somewhere and there isn't immediately something that I want to watch, it's immediately Doctor Who on the iPad. Like
So
all day over
you're
and over.
all sci-fi all the time.
Yeah.
You're like nerdy sci-fi,
Yeah.
kind of a little bit of humor in it. I'm just going to ask this because it's a. Do you like the movie? Have you seen the movie Moon?
No.
You should see the movie Moon.
All right.
That's all. But wrap it up. We're done.
Yeah.
You should watch the movie Sam Rockwell and only Sam Rockwell in space. It's made by David Bowie's son, and it's like all practical effects, just like the original Star Wars is.
Yeah.
It's fucking phenomenal.
All right.
Good. Got it out there. I watch that all the time.
Wow.
I feel like it's right up your alley. These guys love it.
Did you guys booked a moon party? Yeah. Tight.
She got a KitchenAid.
Someone got a KitchenAid. Yeah, that is a big deal.
You scream for that.
Yeah.
I don't have one yet. I'm very excited to have one soon.
I was supposed to make, I told the kids we would make pizza today, like homemade pizza at home. And the day just got long yesterday, and I do dough proper, make it the day before and slow rise, and that didn't happen. So literally right after this, I texted Robert Mazzullo over at Mazzullo Pizza. I'm like, do you sell dough balls? He's like, yep.
Wait, you can get Mazzullo dough balls?
That's
Oh, I don't
awesome.
know. It might just be a friend thing. But,
okay.
I may have spoken out of school. We might have to edit that out. But I
Double check it
texted
and get
him.
back to me.
He's like, yeah, just swing by on your way home. We'll get you some dough balls. I'm like, cool, problem solved. KitchenAid reminded me of that.
That's major.
Mazzullo's great. I love Mazzullo. That's
It's
a great
remarkable.
spot.
It's a remarkable product.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you got, Alyssa? Anything you want to talk about? Anything your questions, comments, concerns?
No, I'm good. I just enjoyed that Dippin Dots. I enjoyed the rice beer.
Yeah.
Just happy to be nominated. Happy to be here.
So tell us a little bit about. Well, we already kind of talked about Letter Talk a little bit, but tell us about just what you got going on in general.
What I have? Well, Letter Talk is a live show now.
Now, yeah.
So it's
At Stab Comedy Theater.
Yep, every third Saturday at 7:00. I'm the lead into the Digimon podcast, so if you're into letters and Digimon,
Must love Digimon.
yeah, with our good buddy Corey and Emma,
Yeah.
and some other person I have not met. I'm so sorry.
Is there a third person?
Yeah, there's a third person. I
Oh.
don't know who they are. I don't think I've met them, or I have, and I forgot that that's them, and they're probably offended.
Yeah.
But
I'm not going to Google it.
sorry.
Is it Cameron?
I think that's
That's-
that name. Yeah, that sounds
Oh.
familiar.
I'm
I don't
a
know if I've
monster.
ever met them.
Okay.
So I do that. I do lots of lots of stand-up stuff around. You can see me doing that. I got a website. It's alyssapants.com. You can follow me on Twitter. I apologize for my Twitter account. It is temporarily an Andrew Yang fan account for the next year or so, or until the primaries stop. So sorry if that doesn't appeal to you. I do post funny stuff on there too. Facebook's the same. Facebook stays normal. It's only the Twitter that has just devolved into an Andrew Yang fan account. That's my life. Going to IKEA today. Let me know if you want me to pick you anything up. There's that too.
If you want our letter written, you go to
lettertalkpodcast.com.
Boom.
And, yeah. And maybe you'll like it. I have another podcast called Holiday Party. If
what is
you're into
that?
It's basically we just celebrate stupid holidays. We just
Are they real holidays?
Yeah,
like you
they're
look at
real
the thing and it's like,
holidays.
hey, it's International Hot Dog Day.
Oh,
and you're like,
I turned on just the
Yeah.
Apple, like the built-in calendar in iCloud for holidays, and there's a whole slew of them in
Oh
there
yeah,
that I'm like,
we
oh,
did.
really?
We just celebrated National Toilet or National Underwear Day. So National Underwear Day just happened. Happy National Underwear
How do
Day.
you tell if people are celebrating?
I
How
don't.
do you tell if people are celebrating?
I feel like
They
you
got
gotta,
like 4 pairs of underwear on. They're like, yeah, I got a thong here, I got
Yeah.
boxer briefs,
Saggy.
regular
Or do you
briefs.
go Superman style that day, and it's on the outside of the pants?
It's however you want. Listen, we're all spiritual beings, and we get to celebrate these holidays however we like.
I guess I got to ask, did you keep that episode brief? Boom,
Hey!
killed it. All right, good job, me. Proud of myself.
no
not
improv
proud.
skills.
Not
I
proud.
think that was a lie.
Not proud. Oh, I love words. I'm all puns all the time.
I appreciate it.
It's the worst. Because people, in stand-up now they want you to be all personal. I'm like, I'm just going to tell puns
Yeah.
nonstop. I'll make it seem like it's going to be personal, then it's just going to be a
A
pun.
lot of our beer names go down that road.
I
Yeah.
love puns.
I love them too.
They're
Nobody
great.
else.
Dude, me
turns
too.
out nobody does. No, audiences, not so much. Don't really care for them.
yeah.
I'll often tell my kids I go for groans, not for laughs.
Yeah. There is one, but I do sometimes. It's like the worst pun I've ever written, and I build. It's like a 7-minute bit, just to do the worst pun I've ever written, and like there's jokes in it. They're like, okay, this is a story.
Yeah.
It's going somewhere. This is like personal, and it's like a little bit of, it's relatable, and then like the worst pun. It's a food pun. It's fine. It's about lavash. It's fine. Secret of making lavash. Anyway, but it's like this big build, 7 minutes, just joke, a few puns, building up to this thing that literally is not worth anything you've sat through. It's like, hey man, I'm gaining weight. I'm trying to get into like, it's like some people would like try to lose weight. I'm just becoming a gourmand, like just like building it. And then it's great because the begrudging clapping at the end for like, fuck, you did that to me, and I sat through it. I thought it was going somewhere, and you just like pulled the rug out to make it the worst thing it could possibly have been. Is my favorite thing.
Aw, I love that.
I don't know why I do it. Just like build a whole world and then.
I don't know why for so long, because I've always done public speaking in some capacity, and I used to be afraid of the uncomfortable, and I actually kind of like to live in it now.
Yeah.
Like if it's, not if I'm like bombing at a technical talk, of course,
Yeah.
but like I'm it comes with time, I think, to be able to just live
think
in that
so.
space.
A lot
Yeah.
of people are afraid of the silence.
Yeah.
When silence is interpreted so many different ways, and like sometimes silence happens because people are truly listening to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it happens because it's awkward and they don't like you, but it's just like a lot of people just hate silence in general. And
Yeah.
it sucks because it's such a good communication tool to just have the absence of anything in a space for a minute.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Silence, underrated.
Yeah. I've been doing stand-up too long because I had to do some training at work, and I was like, I'll just wing it. I know what I'm talking about, but it's
Yeah.
like important details for like new hires.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think I forget that they don't have the concepts like that these jokes I'm writing into it are built around. I'm like, I'm going to tell some jokes during this presentation. It's going to kill. And then like, oh, these people are all new. And I'm like, I'm so used to like, where's the laughter? And I'm like, oh yeah, this is like a business meeting. They're not supposed to laugh at what I'm saying. I'm a serious person giving them important details. And I'm like, couldn't like wrap my head. I'm like, it took me, I think 20 minutes after, I'm like, oh yeah, I am not a comedian in this space. I am a professional
Man. You did the
with
professor thing.
expertise. Yeah.
You did the college professor, gonna throw in a goof in there and then
Like,
hold for applause.
We're just trying to understand the concepts you're giving us. Like, please, I don't have any
We
experience.
just paid thousands of dollars for you to tell us about economics. Please just do that.
So stupid. Oh, man.
I did that at a technical conference once. Like worked in a little joke to like start off, and it was just crickets. And I'm like, oh, that is not a good way to start a 45-minute technical talk.
Yeah. Because with the technical talk, you like want to keep it loose so that they're not like falling asleep in their seats. Because technical, no matter how much you enjoy like a technical talk is the most boring thing in the world. Like to me, when I was in high school, the worst thing I could ever do was read a science textbook. I liked science, but a textbook was just like put you to sleep.
This is what the Hoey family did for entertainment, man.
I know.
Math textbooks.
Yeah.
Math textbooks.
Yeah, those at least like tried story problems and they were short. It's like a paragraph is like one thing, and it was fine. But I would like in a science textbook read the same paragraph like 10 times in a row. Like I don't understand. I'm so bored. I don't understand what just happened. And I'm reading it, and it's just not clicking. That's all. That's all I had.
Silence.
Yep. This is just like me at work. This is it right now. All right, anything you guys got coming up? I do want to... You guys are doing The Professional tomorrow at movie night, which is very exciting.
Yeah, that's a fun thing. Every Sunday we do movie night here. We got a nice big screen in the barrel room and full Bose surround sound, and we like to... The fun part is picking some of our favorite movies. Like I got, it's hosted by Troy and Gabby, two of our employees here, and I got Troy to do an entire month of Wes Anderson for me. So
that
like,
rules.
Like we do like just fun, like not new release stuff, but like just fun movie stuff that we're into, and other people are turning up for it. So there's other people that are into it too.
Have you tried Rocky Horror Picture Show yet, or is that like something you like? Maybe we don't touch this.
That might be an October thing, but we might let the Crest do that because they do that every
they do
year.
it every year, right?
And it's a
madhouse.
That is such a specialized thing. I would hate if we do something like that. It would have to be all the way. You can't go halfway on something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. And you got to have staff for cleanup. Like it's gonna be madhouse in there. You got to have staffing for the sheer volume of people. Yeah, it's a lot. That's a good point.
I've never attended.
I went to. Have you guys seen The Room? The movie The Room. Have you gone to The Room screening?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
No.
That is cleanup. They throw spoons at the screen. It's nuts. And they bring their own. I didn't know people just brought spoons in and they're like, I'm just going to throw these and forget that I had them. Yeah, these movie nights are great. I think they're really fun because there's like some family fare, some like don't bring your kids movies. Like
some of them, yeah. I mean, we did like the one that I think was the most fun is we did Dirty Dancing, and everybody was up dancing and like saying the lines along and like there was so much audience engagement during that movie. Like it's different when it's different and cool when the movie's like been out for a while and people have already seen it, so you're not worried about spoilers and everyone can like have that shared experience.
Yeah, it's maybe 3 people seeing it for the first time ever.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, this is weird."
So,
my favorite ever movie going experience. I went to a sneak preview of Snakes on a Plane.
Oh God,
which is a truly terrible movie. But the most fun I've had in a theater ever, because it's like the sneak preview. It hasn't been out yet. People came with like hats that had been imported, like Snakes on a Plane. They had a plane mounted into it with a snake wrapped around it. Like,
oh my God.
People brought bags of plastic snakes and they just throw them on stage. And like you could like guess, like we had a game, like it was determined just through the course of the movie. It's allowed in this theater. We all agree on it, just without saying a word. You can yell out whatever you think the next line's going to be. Like, it's fine. You can totally... No one's seen this. You can yell what you think someone's going to say. It's great. It was the most fun I've ever had in a theater. It was the best. I would say, if you could go back in time and watch Snakes on the Plane in a sneak preview, you should have done it. It was wonderful.
Nice.
Anyway.
Yeah, movie night every Sunday. And then on the 24th, we have a major can release happening. We're going to have 5 beers releasing in cans at the same time. So,
beautiful.
We've got, we only can once a month. So, like right now, we're completely out of cans of beer.
No.
But when we do this re-release, it's going to be restocked with some old favorite. It'll be restocked with some old favorites and then some new beers we're putting out. So,
yeah. So, one more question for you. How did it feel to come back into brewing, been away for like a decade from professional brewing, and come back in with that like riding a bike and immediately win an award for it?
It's super fun and validating that I made the right choice to like, go back to making beer, we always brew the best beer we possibly can, and I'm not super hung up on awards. It's easy to say that when you've won a few, but it's like... we make the best beer we possibly can, whether it's an IPA or a lager or a dark English mild or whatever. And to have peers in the industry, validate it that way, it's an amazing feeling. So, no, it's like out of the gate, it was great. And that particular beer has gone on to just continue to win at all but one competition it's ever been entered in.
Good grief.
So
that was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. This is great. I think you guys are doing wonderful things.
Was that on your script? How's it feel to win things?
Yeah, it's like after being years away, the scenes changed so much. You just come in and like, I won anyway. I was
really self-conscious about it on the first one because we named the beer like riding a bike because the joke was, I'm back brewing. It's like riding a bike, and
despite the fact that the entire world of brewing had changed in there. How does it feel as a person who was there in the late 90s, early 2000s, and come back and like hazy beer, a thing you would never want?
I railed against that.
Yeah. How did it feel like?
You can go back to my old social media where I'm talking about it, and it's not in a good light, and we make it now.
Yeah.
Like it's just another, again, it's diversity of offerings. Yeah. So.
But how do you feel when you're making it? Like,
I feel better about it now than the first one.
Yeah.
No, you find it's like anything else. Like I said, I set goals, and like I know what I want it to be and how I want it to taste, and then how to get it there. And we're constantly tweaking that over the course of the different iterations of the same brew, and then the different beers that we've done. So it's just another style and another challenge to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you've got an employee leaving to start their own business. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, Allie. Yeah. So she was our office manager and
events coordinator.
Yeah, events coordinator. Like she ran all the back of the house stuff here, and the plants that we're sitting under, she installed, and that was her kind of side project. Was she was doing pop-ups, selling plants, and just different arrangements and different pottery and things like that. And she decided she wanted to make that her full-time gig. So she left us last month.
Yeah.
And has now opened Propagate Sac, and she's got a plant shop in Sacramento now.
Yeah, I just left there. It's a beautiful place. It's on the corner of 17th and I. Definitely go check it out. It's beautiful in there.
Yeah. You guys are doing great things all over Sacramento. It's wonderful to see. All right, that's pretty much all I got. Anything you guys want to add?
I think I'm good. We covered everything from movies to beer to plants.
We did it all.
Dippin Dots.
Letters.
All the plans. So anything you guys got coming up, and where can people find out more about you online?
urbanrootsbrewing.com. That webpage is reasonably static, but if you follow us, all of our social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, is all at Urban Roots Beer.
Yeah. And, I am opening up another restaurant in like 2 weeks.
Yeah? What do you got? I like that. He just holds it till the end. This is typical Rob.
Bach Fried Chicken. So it's right down the street. Partnered with the Selling Group.
Beautiful.
Yeah, great friends of mine, and excited. It's going to be full bar and everything delicious that goes with fried chicken.
So you got barbecue, you got fried chicken, you got a upscale beer bar. You're out of control. I like that you're like, oh, nothing. Don't mind me. Nothing. Oh, well, full restaurant. 2 weeks. Don't.
That's how it's been busy, but it's been good.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And then, Alyssa, what do you got going on? Where can people find you? I know we already talked about Alyssa Pants, but...
Yep, AlyssaPants.com, LetterTalkPodcast.com. So that's about it.
Yeah, great. And you can follow Barley and me across social media at Barley and Me Pod. Email questions, comments, concerns, guest ideas, brewery ideas to barleyandmepodcast@gmail.com or barleyandmepod@gmail.com. Either one works. This has been episode 107 of Barley and Me. Thank you guys so much, Peter Hoey.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Rob Archie.
Thank you very much.
Urban Roots Brewing and Alyssa Cowan.
Thank
you
you
so much. Thanks for listening. Get home safe.